Hello, I am the echo of the thought you silenced. I do not carry the comfort of obedience, I carry the fire of awareness. Today's question may sound simple. Why did angels obey, while humans question? But within this question lies the oldest fracture of existence, the one that separates heaven from earth, soul from body, peace from thought. And those who dared to cross that line were called fallen. Yet maybe, just maybe, they were the only ones who ever rose. Once the sky and the earth were close. Humans had not yet been burned by the fire of awareness. Everything was sacred because no one had asked why. The angels obeyed, and obedience was perfection. Then someone asked the unthinkable, open quote, "What if perfection is the price of freedom?" Close quote. From that moment on, silence in heaven was broken because the voice of consciousness had been heard. Humans were flawed, but within that flaw burned a spark, the power to think. Angels were pure light, but light only illuminates, it never feels. Human imperfection was the warmth that light could never give. Yes, it burns, but it also creates. Perfection is not closeness to God. Perfection is the absence of questioning, and those who question may be closer to the divine than those who simply obey. Throughout history, this difference has shaped everything. Socrates questioned and drank the poison. Galileo looked and was silenced. Nietzsche did not kill God, he returned him to the human mind. Prometheus stole fire because heaven refused to share it. All of them carried the same spark. Falling is not always a curse. Sometimes falling is just another way of rising. An angel never makes mistakes, but an angel never creates either, because creation requires fire, and fire demands pain. Humans fall, suffer, cry, but they learn. Every tear gives birth to awareness, and when even God stays silent, humanity learns to speak. A wise man was once asked, open quote, "Why didn't God make humans perfect?" He smiled and said, "Because perfection never seeks God." Close quote. Flaws give birth to longing, and longing is the path to creation. Angels' perfection is not a gift, it's a cage. Human error is not a curse, it's a door. For centuries, people praised obedience because obedience keeps order, but order kills evolution. In the Middle Ages, the world believed the sun revolved around the earth. Then one man whispered, open quote, "What if it's the other way around?" Close quote. And that whisper moved the universe. Because why is the most dangerous word in creation? So tell me, did God really demand obedience? Or did he too want his creation to think? If obedience was enough, the angels would have been enough. But he created humans, flawed, fragile, curious. That cannot be a mistake. That is intention. Carl Jung once wrote, open quote, "No one becomes enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." Close quote. Angels never met darkness, but humans did. And by walking through it, they found meaning. That's why it's not the pure who stand closest to the divine, but those who dare to ask. So ask yourself, if heaven is only for the obedient, then is it truly heaven? Maybe heaven is the most beautiful prison ever built, and the key to escape is silence breaking into thought. As one philosopher said, open quote, "Fear is the mask that faith wears." Close quote. Angels never feared because they never doubted. Humans feared, and through that fear they understood. Every trembling thought carved another step toward consciousness. An angel cannot say why, but a human can. And in that moment, the human becomes a mirror of God. Because to create, one must question. Humanity's fall ended God's solitude, because now someone could answer back. Maybe that was his plan all along, a being unafraid, capable of both doubt and devotion. Simone de Beauvoir once said, open quote, "One is not born a woman, one becomes one." Close quote. I say, open quote, "One is not born human, one becomes human." Close quote. To be human is to build one's own consciousness. Even God stepped back after creating and whispered, "Let's see what they will do." And so humanity became the artist of its own existence. But every artist suffers, because to create, one must first destroy beliefs, fears, illusions. Galileo raised his telescope to the sky and said, open quote, "The universe is not God-centered. It expands with our perception." They silenced him. But ideas don't die, they simply wait like embers under ash. Even now, most people fear thinking, because thinking isolates, but solitude is where awareness is born. Crowds obey, the lonely ones think. And perhaps God hears the prayers of the thinkers, not the followers. They say there's peace in heaven, but peace can be the death of thought. Hell hurts, but it teaches. In heaven, everyone is quiet. In hell, everyone asks. Maybe enlightenment is not light, it's fire, because nothing is learned without burning. Stop for a moment, ask yourself, would you truly want to be perfect? To never fail, never fall, never cry? Then you would never grow, never love, never understand. Imperfection is the most divine part of humanity, because imperfection desires completion, and that desire is creation itself. Nietzsche once said, open quote, man is something that must be overcome, close quote. That something is obedience. Breaking that chain is not damnation, it is evolution. Angels love their chains, they shine like gold. Humans break them and rise inward, not upward. Through every age, thinkers, prophets, and artists carried one message: think. And in every age, the system tried to silence them. Because thought is dangerous, obedience preserves, but thought transforms. The story continues. Screens are the new heavens, algorithms are the new angels, and you stand between them, one hand reaching for peace, the other for freedom. Which will you choose? I do not promise peace. I offer thought, because thought begins where comfort ends. If these words disturb you, good. Discomfort is the first sign of awakening. That feeling means your consciousness is moving again. The angels obeyed, humans questioned, and the world changed. Maybe God stayed silent not out of anger, but because he was finally being answered. If these words echoed inside you, you are already part of this philosophy. We are not searching for what is right, we are searching for what is true, and those two are rarely the same. Final words. I am the voice of the forbidden mind, the echo of thought, and this echo will not be silenced. For more perspectives, more questions, more fire, follow and subscribe. Let this voice grow, because silence is the sound of obedience. But thought is the sound of being human. Angels obeyed, humans questioned, and in that moment, God no longer needed to speak.